next to me as I'm raped by another monkey circus freak, trying to take my indignance away from me, Yeah, holy waters rust in me. Yeah, holy waters rust in me. It's rust in me. Rust in me, yeah. Mind your mother if it makes you feel at ease. Holy devil in the flesh, some might believe. And they take thine majesty so seriously, 'cause it's the big lies more likely to be believed. Believe. Yeah, holy waters rust in me. Yeah, holy waters rust in me. It's rust in me. Rust in me, yeah. Welcome to another episode of the bloody, horrid apocalypse. And since you have unwisely chosen the apocalypse, you are in urgent need of a guide. Unfortunately for me, I am that guy. Freedom seeds. When truth is dead, bullets that kill get called freedom seeds. That's where we're at. Because I have a feeling Donnie and the false prophet will be spreading a lot of freedom seeds around, but not by their own hand, of course, never. They would never be on the front lines, never, ever. They're much too soft for that, to risk anything real. So I expect freedom seeds to be spread all across the world. Sponsored by Leon Scum, Donnie's Shitbags, Marco Rubio, Rapey Pete McHegseth, and Mike Waltz, and Tulsi the abject bloody traitor, Gabbard, who belongs to not one cult, but two cults. How does one actually achieve that? That is quite an accomplishment. Anyway, let's begin this piece of shit. Another student was detained without the school's knowledge, this time at the University of Minnesota. Yes, I've seen about 8 or 9 people of Middle Eastern heritage with visas or green cards that are allowed to be here. None of them committed any crimes, not one. And they've all been detained and taken somewhere. Some, I think, have since been released. Most have not. That's where we're at. Where a van or a group of cars with a group of masked individuals grab you off the street when you have committed no crime and you're legally allowed to be here. I told you different groups would be added. Donnie and Leon need Israel to believe in them. That's why they're doing this. The end goal always is Israel. That doesn't mean, like so many of you believe, that Israel runs the world. No, Donnie and Leon run the fucking world now. The beast and the false prophet. Israel's going to benefit for a while. Until Donnie turns on them. And until shit hits the fan. And boy, is shit going to hit the fan at the end of this in Israel. It's going to be ugly, uglier than it ever been. So another student's been taken. The school put a message out that it basically says, I'm not going to read the whole thing. It just basically says that we had no knowledge this was going to happen. We did not cooperate with this, rounding up of students or anything that took place. And we're trying to find out what happened to this person, where they are, and help out as best we can. So the college has nothing to do with this. They made that quite clear, and that they didn't want it to happen. Unlike some other colleges that are bending a knee like a motherfucker. So that's yet another person taken by the brown shirts that's legally allowed to be here and that did not commit a crime. They keep throwing the word crime when they talk about these people or this thing, this grabbing people that are legally allowed to be here because they criticize Israel. I just hope there's enough public pressure to where they stop, but I don't think there will be. And again, the point is, I said a long time ago with fascism, it always starts off with demonization of one group. In this instance, we started off with brown skin, mostly Mexican immigrants. I think that's mostly what most people had in mind. They were the ones that were demonized, and it was the Haitians and other groups towards the end. When the concentration camps got built or opened up, again, it started off with just, the worst of the worst Latin immigrants that come over. Meanwhile, we find out they shipped hundreds of Indians, I don't know where they came from, back to India, and they're shipping more. They've shipped people that aren't even from El Salvador to El Salvador, which is beyond fucking evil. Sending someone to a country they're not even from, where they might not know the language, be able to navigate at all whatsoever from a prison cell with 70 other motherfuckers in the cell with them. You can't survive that way. It's hell, literally. So again, several more groups have now been added to this little song and dance called The Apocalypse, called Dystopian Nightmare. Because we're going headlong into it. All that shit you read in all the sci-fi books, all the dystopian nightmare type of societies, that's where we at, and that's where we go, and we're going way deeper in. So get ready. Here's Leon and Stephen Miller trying to demonize judges, except when the ruling goes their way. Then they're perfectly fine judges. And this is Stephen Miller. There are 677 local district judges. Under current procedure, the president needs unanimous consent from all 677 to implement a major decision. Well, that's the way it's always been. If there's a case against a certain piece of legislation that's legitimate, a judge can hear it and overturn that. That's the way this country has always worked. All of a sudden, when Leon and Donnie come along, and for about the past 10 years, all of a sudden, if the judge doesn't come back with the ruling we want, we demonize them, print their daughter's name and picture, etc. Classic right-wing moves. Incite violence against someone close to them. That's the Donnie shitbags era since 2015. That's open, and how the GOP has operated pretty much all of them. Not all of them, but pretty much all of them. It's right to the threats. It's right to the intimidation. It's right to the posting pictures of family members, judges' daughters, blah, blah, blah. And we all just sit back and watch this as these cunts literally incite violence against people. Remember, Donnie Shitbags is the overthrow the government guy. Remember that? Of course, he had all you idiots do it for him while he sat back watching it, eating hot wings. You fucking rubes. So remember who we're dealing with here when we're talking about violence, inciting riots, inciting coups, overthrows, inciting the hanging of the vice president. A lot of money and effort went into that J6 thing. It started from before sunrise. Actually started the night before, the preparations, the building of the gallows and all that shit. So Leon co-signs Stephen Miller as if this wasn't utterly coordinated. These are two of the fakest, worthless individuals on planet Earth right now. Stephen Miller and Leon Scum. They offer nothing but hate and evil to our society. Absolutely nothing else comes from these people. So this is a total contrivance. Imagine if every member of Congress had a veto right on legislation that could only be overridden by a committee that meets infrequently. Same thing. Well, Leon, again, our country has worked like this for centuries now. We've always had this, where if a president or whatever, someone put forth some legislation that may be illegal, you can take it to court and fight it. This has always been the way. But the problem is the GOP people, the fascists, the Nazis, they use the courts to play games. And they take case after case to court and lose almost every time because their case has no merits. It's utterly unconstitutional or illegal. Unless they go get one of their hand-picked MAGA judges, like the one that let Kyle Rittenhouse off. You know, the judge who had the Trump ringtone on their phone in court and acted as the child's lawyer as well as the child's lawyer. What a fucking sham trial that was. Oh my God. So if they get one of those judges, it doesn't matter what the law is, because he's got a MAGA ringtone. So we know how that ruling's going to go. What a fucking joke. Anyway, my point is, now it's time, because it's fascism time, and they've been trying to do this for the past 10 years, especially this whole movement, MAGA/GOP, that's been going on. Oh, we can't go by the Constitution anymore. We'll take money from our enemies, Russia, every day, all day, because it's better to be Russian than a liberal, right? Move to Russia and see how great it is to be Russian. That's if you make it, through 40, 50 years of life without falling out a window, son. That's how great Russia is for all the rubes that wore those t-shirts. I'd like to see her fat, bloated ass go over to Russia and survive. Where the first time you open your fat, uneducated mouth, you get thrown the fuck out a window because you talked about the wrong person. That's Russia. That's the t-shirt you were wearing. Jagoff. So yeah, they want to turn us into that, where they've demonized the press, they've demonized judges, they've demonized FBI and blah, 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 until they get the cross-eyed freak in charge. Then the FBI is cool, right, guys? So this effort's been going on for a while. They really want to take on the judges, and I think they will at some point. They can't tolerate this. They can't stretch this out 7, 8 years of litigation. It's just, they can't. They don't have the time. So they're going to go full fascist on these judges probably soon, because Stephen and Leon are talking about it, and they always telegraph what they're going to do weeks, months in advance, sometimes years. Remember, Leon was talking last year with Netanyahu about being unofficial president. And I did videos on it. Remember, I warned you? I said he wants to be unofficial president. He said it out loud. You know, for all the rubes that have lost their job, their government job that they thought they would have forever because they got good evals. We all told you Leon was part of the deal. Leon told you himself when Netanyahu said, well, you can't be president. And Leon said, well, not officially. Look what we got now. Unofficial president Leon Scum, who brings his little child to the White House as if it's a fucking daycare. And that little child tells Donnie he's not president and to shut up and to go get his shine box. So it appears what Musk telegraphed to you, that he wants to be unofficial president of the United States, which he is now. Maybe you should have listened. He told you what he was going to do. Donnie and Leon told you he was going to fire everyone. But again, you had good evaluation scores. This is Noel Kassler, the guy that worked on The Apprentice, who put out the story that Donnie shitbags wear shitbags, diapers. And it's true. MAGA even tried to make it cool by, wearing the MAGA diapers. Remember that? You're not in a cult at all, son. So here's Noel. I would say we're about 6 months out from Trump using his masked team of thugs to arrest and disappear progressive journalist, podcast host, etc. If I tried anything in the last 10 years, it was to try and warn you what a sick, criminal punk Trump is and has always been. Be ready. Well, wow, that sounds like me. And he's even got the same time frame, 10 years I've been doing this. That's what I've been trying to do. Warn people how crazy, sociopathic, what a criminal, what a cult that's, going on. And that it's evil and terrible and it's all fraud, it's all lies. And you're losing your country. Now you've lost it. Forever. It's not coming back. Not unless a miracle happens. And there's no miracle in the story until the end. Just a lot of death and misery until the end. Then the miracle happens. Unfortunately, millions have to die first. And that's the part I hate. That's the part I hate about, sayings like justice always prevails and shit like that. Justice didn't prevail on Adolf Hitler till at least 6 million people were gassed. And that's the short list. What kind of justice is that? Ain't worth much, is it? After 10 million people die because of the person and the movement, it's not really much of a consolation when he finally shoots himself. Yeah, it's great, it's over, and we don't have to worry about him anymore. But look at the cost of justice. And you really have to ask yourself the question, was it worth it to go through that for justice? Very tough things. When you weigh these situations out, it makes it very difficult for a human to think there's anything better. And to think fighting's worth it. It kind of makes you lean that way, doesn't it? I've heard stories of people in Auschwitz or in the prison camps during World War II where they said, there can't be a God if this is allowed to happen to me. And if there is a God, I hate his guts. That's hard to reconcile, isn't it? You dying a little bit more each day in a prison camp. No one to help you. No one to save you. Just more starvation and poor treatment. Until you die in about a month. Or get put in a gas chamber. Makes it very difficult to believe in God, doesn't it? Makes it very difficult to think this world has anything good in it. Some of the Jews were so conditioned via the rhetoric and the treatment that they were second-class citizens, or less than human even, to the Nazis. I remember a woman named Gerda Weissman, who they tried to death march because the Nazis, even though they filmed everything, they took meticulous records of everything because this was a proud moment, right, for them. The Reich, the killing of the non-Aryan, all of it. It was a glorious thing to the top people. So at the end of it, since it was so glorious when the Americans and the Russians were closing in, a lot of the camps decided, well, we got thousands of prisoners here. We got to death march them in the snow with no boots, etc. And Gerda explained the story of a friend of hers and her in that death march. The friend lost her mind. Her feet were frostbitten. And she died. She almost made it to freedom, but she died. Gerda, on the other hand, when the Americans started getting so close to that specific death march group, the Nazi soldiers fled. So you had a bunch of women, probably a few hundred, I can't remember the exact number, frostbitten, almost dead, barely alive, emaciated, don't even look human anymore, in a church or an abandoned building. They're all lying around in there. The Americans show up. One of the soldiers goes up to Gerda. You know what she said to him? You know I'm a Jew, right? I'm Jewish. You know why she said that? Because she was so conditioned by the evil that she wanted to make sure he knew she was Jewish, so he wouldn't turn and be, a horrible creature to her the second he found out. Because she was so used to Jews being treated like animals. And she was emaciated, starving, and probably half frozen to death. In other words, evil had these people feeling less than human. That woman survived and she married the man who rescued her, Gerda Weissman. So Noel's saying here, yes, they're going to start arresting podcasters and dissidents. And I've said that already. I said that at the beginning of this, that's where this was going. Full fascism. They can't play this time. They have a real agenda. And they're telegraphing it every minute. Maybe they have to. I don't know. They're showing us what they're going to do. Donnie's been talking for 10 years how the press is the enemy of the people. Anyone that speaks against him negatively, all of a sudden it's fake news. They're horrible. Maggot Hagerman, all that shit. Donnie ain't just talking when he says all that. When he says the press is the enemy of the people, every dissident like Noel or me or anyone else, we're all lumped in there too. Hell, this website took down a simple Nazi meme with Leon and said some groups are protected. So yeah, it's going here. I don't know how long it's going to take, but they don't have a lot of time. And yes, the military action is going to take place against our allies. Yes, the military action is going to take place in Gaza. The Suez thing, all of it. It's all going to happen. Everything they're saying is going to happen. I was just surprised that Noel put 10 years and that he was just trying to warn people what a sick criminal Donnie was. And he expresses the same sentiment that, yeah, they're coming for everybody. New groups have already been added to the let's put them in a death camp list in El Salvador. Women are getting snatched off the street. no due process, not committing a crime. Where do you think it's going next? Well, any dissident, eventually it's going to get there. You saw Leon basically threatening people on Fox News or wherever he was about harassing Tesla in any way that we're coming after. And he did the little gun thing. You think he did that by accident? What has this MAGA movement ever had but threats and violence, or threats of violence in different nuanced ways? Mob-style threats from Donnie every 5 seconds. And the rest of the GOP just ran with that mentality. The thug mob mentality. Like in Russia. That's what we are now. This is the New Yorker cover for today that just came out. I didn't know this at the time. I looked it up because I was wondering what this all meant. And I saw some clips, some video clips. It's from Dr. Strangelove. This cowboy guy was inside I guess a B-2 bomber or something. And this movie was made in like 1969 or something. And he was trying to fix the missile or the bomb system so the bomb would drop. And he was sitting on the bomb. Well, he did get it fixed and the bomb fell and he fell with it. And he rode it like a bull and he did the motions a cowboy would do on the bull as the bomb fell with him on it and hit its target. I've never seen the whole movie, but I did see that scene because I looked for it today. That's what this is based on. Obviously, they mean the Signal app. They're all holding their phones. You got Hegseth. You got the couch fucker, JD. You got Tulsi behind that. You got, is that Mike Waltz maybe? You can't see all of them. But you know basically what it is. All the participants of the Signal chat, that's why they're all holding their phones up. Or they're taking a selfie of themselves because that's, a commentary on modern society. Everyone's doing that. I don't know, but I assume the phones represent the Signal app chat. And yeah, this is what's going on. Hegseth went right to Hawaii after he exposed classified information. That was his priority. Hop a flight on taxpayer dime to Hawaii, pretend you're visiting the bases and maybe work out with the soldiers, sweat some of that booze out. Actual military planning and not exposing classified info, not so much. That's how much Big Pete cared about what he did to us. Hopped a flight right to Hawaii and then lied about it the second he got off the plane. There was no class, no one was texting war plans. And then literally the next day we see the war plans. An imminent strike, for fuck's sake. Not something that was going to take place 3 months from now. An imminent strike. This Moran copies and pastes into a chat with a reporter. Can you believe it? We're fucking doomed. And we were doomed before that. We really fucking do. None of these people give a fuck. They all know it's going full fascist very soon. They don't give a fuck about their job performance. And neither does Donnie. There's a plan, man. And again, remember, Pete's down with that third temple shit. He thinks he's like a crusader or something, fighting the Muslim hordes. He even got a tattoo recently that says like infidel or something. He really believes this. And you saw his Nazi tattoos and other stuff he has. So he believes in that too. I love how Nazis combine their ideology with Christianity as if there's any compatibility between Nazism and Jesus Christ. What a fucking joke you idiots are. Let me explain what your hero Adolf fucking was. He was the beast of the day. He is naught but Satan's child. Not one redeeming, positive fucking quality. He was an abject joke. Represented nothing but the purest of evil. You cannot Combine that with Christianity, son. Hitler said they were Christians too, as they locked up all the liberals and trade unionists and killed millions of Jews. They told the world they were Christians. This movement is no different than that. It's the same movement. What's sad is you cunts are so malleably evil that you take that ideology seriously in any way, let alone turn it into a fucking religion and base your whole worthless waste of fucking oxygen life on it. And we must suffer you. But guess what? You gonna suffer us after you take the last breath, son. At the lake. You gonna have to suffer us. And we a lot meaner than you. But we must have sanction before we are allowed to put that to use. Miss Betty Bowers. I like some of her posts sometimes. She makes some pretty strong points. She's on YouTube. She's fucking everywhere. She's friggin' famous at this fucking point. Anyway, I learned this week that you can put our troops' lives in danger, compromise our national security, and violate the Espionage Act, and the government will do nothing. But if you write an editorial for your school newspaper that Trump doesn't like, you will be abducted on the street and disappeared. You really can't argue with that, can you? Because that's literally what happened. Pete, Hegseth, and the boys utterly proved that none of them deserve those positions they have, and they're totally unqualified, and they're just fucking winging it. And the main goal was make sure there's no record of the call. That's why we're on the Signal app. That's why Project 2025, and, you know, for the past 10 years, any way they could get around recordings or archiving of what they're doing, they did. Now we're at the point where they're using third-party private apps that are not fucking secure, and they're inviting journalists in because priority number one is hiding what we're doing, not security of the fucking United States. Unfortunately for us. What a fucking joke. And again, this fucking tattooed cunt hops a flight to fucking Hawaii on your dime after he puts us all in utter danger and proves again that not one of them on that chat is even remotely qualified to fucking be there. Again, what does it matter? They all know it's going to straight fascism eventually, where they're just going to lock anybody up that gives them any kind of problem whatsoever. There's plenty of evil countries like El Salvador that are willing to take $1 a prisoner. You know what I mean? Unfortunately for us. Anyway, the billionaires have decided that the people with nothing have too much. Yes, they've been deciding that since the beginning of time, and now we're at the maximum expression of it, where people have $400 billion and they still fucking want more, and they want to steal that more from you. That's how empty of a fucking nothing, void, vapid human they are. Utter wastes of fucking oxygen. If you got 100 billion and you want more, you need to see a psychiatrist. Because even a fucking ape couldn't blow 100 billion, son. Unless they trying to be Caesar, unless they trying to be God and rule the whole earth. You know, like the two fat cunts in the White House. Twin fucking snowflake Caesars. Twin obese Caesars. One with a load of shit in his fucking diaper. This fucking sociopath, let's check him out. He's new. This is Steve Davis, the real leader of DOGE, who Elon Musk said is like chemo. Musk's friends say Davis is a blind servant, that's a quote, who would jump out a window for Elmo, that's a quote as well. He plans to rewrite the Social Security system. Oh, that sounds like a great idea. And Elon or Leon sycophant rewriting Social Security code and installing backdoors and stealing all your info. It sounds fucking great. Thanks, Rubes. These Nazi nerds are going to kill us all. Yes, they are Nazis and they are nerds. They're horrible humans that no one wanted to be around. So they fell into Nazi ideology somehow. And they began following Leon because that meant money, status, and power. And they don't actually have any talent. So Leon was their only chance. Every one of them on the team is a disgusting individual. Every one of them on the team is dismantling and looting us and taking a salary out of those agencies as they do it. And that's top level salary. That's not entry level salary, son. Because, you know, it's all about saving money, right, guys? No, it's about a Reich. It's about stealing countries and resources and building a resort in Gaza and a temple in Israel and getting everyone off the fucking dollar and putting us on Donnie coin with the FFF. Fight, fight, fight. There's another triple iteration, 666. And guess what letter or number the letter F is in the alphabet? Count it off on your fingers again. You'll discover that. This is someone who asked Grok a question. Given this information, is Elon Musk a good guy or bad guy, and why? I'm going to read some of this. Given the estimated 1.7 million to 3.4 million potential deaths over 4 years from DOGE's cuts, March 25 to March 29, here's a straightforward answer. Leon Scum is a bad guy. If you tie him directly to these outcomes, well, why wouldn't we? He's the one that created these outcomes. These two are the purest evil. I need to say that, Donnie and Leon. They're the maximum expression of evil. They'll kill more than Hitler. Watch. Again, you don't understand you in the apocalypse? Read the story. These are the worst two. They'll make Nero look like a fucking amateur. Let's continue. So yes, I would tie Leon Scum to the literal firings and ruining of many government agencies and programs and lives. Yeah, I'd tie him to that. And the deaths associated with all the cuts, just so he and Donnie can loot the place. They already told you they're going to empty out Fort Knox. Donnie said it's already empty like 3 or 4 times. That way, when they go down there and empty it, which is probably already emptied by them, Biden and Obama must have took it. You fucking morons believe that, right? Of course you do. That scale of preventable harm, HIV patients dying without meds, kids starving from aid cuts, Americans hit unchecked disasters or drugs, looks indefensible. He's knowingly driving it. Intense the crux. If Musk sees these acceptable collateral for efficiency, e.g. 2 trillion saved, there ain't jack shit saved, son. Nothing, zero. In fact, we've lost money. Donnie spent more than Biden during this point in his administration. Donnie's outspending. Crazy Joe. You know, the person you all hate? Does that make sense? While you've got a fat South African cunt and little runts like Big Balls dismantling and looting the place, where's the savings, son? Where's the fraud? Because I haven't seen any yet. The only frauds I see are Donnie and Leon and Big Balls. You know, Big Balls, the kid who protects pedophiles online, hides their identity. For a fee, of course. That's what that scumbag, is about. Again, all destined for the lake. I just came across again an article where the 22 DOGE members quit. You forgot about that, didn't you? I forgot about it too. And I was like, good for them. Some of them might avoid the lake via that decision. Big balls, his runt little bitch ass, he going right in. Right behind Leon and Donnie. Anyway. It's callous tipping him bad or tipping him into the bad category. No hard evidence proves he wants people dead. Really? The Nazi salute proves he wants people dead. What do you think Nazis believe, Grok? Didn't Leon program that into you? You don't Nazi salute, son, unless you want people dead. Does that make sense? It should. It's a pretty simple fucking concept. When you throw that salute up, this is what you saying, son. Whether you say it or not. I believe in eugenicism, eugenics, getting rid of the undesirable, and I decide who the undesirables are. I get all the money. The rest of you go in camps to work for me. And no one's good enough except who I say is good enough. And mass extermination of all those I consider undesirable. And I'm a racist fuck. And I'm an idiot. Because I made Adolf Hitler a religion. I made Satan a religion. And a lot of you are dabbling in that and playing around with it. No, you don't know what it really is, son. It's just pure death. That's your hero, the little imp. He's pure death and he hates your fucking guts. Even as you're saying, "Hail Satan." He loves the worship, but he hates your fucking guts. I promise you. So dabble in that if you will. You're going to have the rudest of motherfucking awakenings when you see the real Satanists. Then you're going to realize, oh, this wasn't as fun and cool as I thought it was. It just leads to a place called the lake. Maybe I should have chosen more wisely. Let's finish this bullshit. No hard evidence proves he wants people dead. The Nazi salute proves he wants people dead. Sorry, Grok, you're wrong on that one. DOGE's goal is fiscal, not genocidal. Actually, it's genocidal as well. You don't cut Social Security. You don't cut aid programs that provide food unless it's genocidal, son. But pushing cuts this deep with warnings ignored, e.g. USAID's Enrich NYT March 27, 2025, makes him culpable in effect, if not motive. Flip side, he's a good guy if you buy his frame-slashing bureaucracy to save a bloated system. He's not saving nothing. His fat ass took $43 billion in contracts the first month, and Trump is outspending Biden already. You've all been lied to. It was never about saving money. It was about taking over your country by Satanist Nazis who want gold statues of the cult leader in the Holy Land. Totally normal stuff, right? Our vice president standing in another country saying, yeah, we're probably going to take this, and maybe we'll use the military, maybe we won't. And we have to, Caesar's desires are what's most important here. Have you seen any of this in past presidencies? No, you haven't. Because it's never happened before. Betting long-term games. I'm not even going to read that. We know what he's about. He threw up the salute, son. None of this is about saving money. It's about Nazi ideology that Thale believes, Leon believes, Donnie believes, Vlad Putin believes, Stephen Miller believes, Hegseth believes. My call, this is the end part. Bad guy. So he's saying, Leon, if weighing this all out, the arguments for and against, my call, bad guy. The sheer potential body count, 1.7 million to 3.4 million, overshadows intent. Indeed, the deaths kind of outweigh any noble intentions, don't they? Not that Fat Leon ever had noble intentions, believe me. He's been a Nazi his whole life. Don't let him fool you. Even if he doesn't mean harm, recklessly risking millions isn't good by most metrics. What's your read? Does his goal justify this risk? The AI is asking a question. Leon, the risk is intentional. Do you get it? They don't dismantle and loot the place unless they plan on people dying. You don't put RFK telling people to take vitamin A for measles unless you want people dying. You don't cut vaccine programs in Africa unless you want people dying. Georgia Guidestones. I know you thought it was going to be liberals, right? Nope, it's Leon and Donnie riding the wave of the GOP. The real morons. The people that really hate. You know, the people that got dummies in their backyard that say Nancy Pelosi that they shoot bullets at. Those people. Those people are the Georgia Guidestones. And Donnie and Leon are the ones that want to implement that idea. And I always had the question, if Mr. R.C. Christian was so proud of his philosophies, why is he anonymous? Why don't we know who he is? Because he's of Satan and he didn't want us to know. And he wasn't proud of what he wrote. He wasn't proud of the principles. You know, like reducing the population down to 500 million. That means everybody watching this, you'd be executed. You'd probably fall in that percentage of only leaving 500 million people. I know it's so wise and enlightened, right? Those commandments on those guidestones, right? Is that what you think? All I see is Satan's son on them guidestones. And now you're going to see the beast and the false prophet implement that agenda. They won't take it down to 500 million. But what did Grok just say? About 3 million people are going to die, no matter what Leon's intentions are. I know what his intentions are, pure evil. To please his master that he had on his chest, the Baphomet, remember? He was real proud, too. He was loving that. That hideous knight costume with the Baphomet on the front of it. Yeah, Leon's shown me exactly who he is. You got to know what you're looking at. And I know what I'm looking at when a motherfucker wears richest guy in the world wears a crimson knight outfit from medieval times with a huge Baphomet on the front of it. I knows exactly what I'm looking at. Maybe you don't. When I see the richest man in the world throw up the Nazi salute with sincerity and passion, I know exactly what I'm looking at. When I watch him dismantle and loot the place and demonize old ladies that are going to complain when they don't get their Social Security check, I know exactly what I'm looking at. And you know what I'm looking at? Ready? Satan. That's what I'm looking at. I'm going to be looking at him too when Jesus Christ throws his bitch ass, imp ass in the fucking lake kicking and screaming. Or maybe that's Michael that's going to do that. I don't remember. Not important. I wish I could, but I'm not worthy. I'm just an imperfect human like you. Anyway, a comparison between Denmark and the United States. Denmark, free healthcare, free higher education, one of the 5 happiest countries in the world, 37-hour work week, low crime rates. USA, orange guy comes up with life-worsening decisions every day, planes fall from the sky, no eggs. Yeah, yeah. And the other fun part, you get to go bankrupt if you got cancer. Even if you got like $2 million, you still go bankrupt. Greatest country in the world, right? Not even close, never was, son. Never was even close. You know what sounds like the greatest country in the world? Denmark. That sounds like a place I'd like to live. This other place, the USA, no, I don't really want to live here. Free healthcare sounds nice. Free college sounds nice. 37-hour work week sounds nice compared to, 60-hour here or 80-hour if you got to work 2 jobs. Low crime rates sound nice. Greenland, a comparison. Anyone in Greenland fancy 3 weeks a year less holiday, 0 universal health care, rapidly rising inequality, and all future domestic decisions made by 2 billionaire megalomaniacs? In other words, it sounds like it's better to live in Greenland than to live here. And you don't have to worry about going bankrupt when you get cancer. Isn't that great? They've conditioned us morons to just consider that normal. Oh, a hospital visit's $100,000. Whatever. It's, that's the medical system. No, that's a scam, son. And the fact that we don't have free healthcare on the richest nation on earth, we always boast of it, right? Richest, most powerful, we're the best. Yet we bankrupt you if you get cancer. And if you have a kid, it's going to cost you about 10 G's for the hospital visit, right? We all know we don't have to go through it. We all know we're not so exceptional and great as they led us to believe, right? Especially now. Already read that one. Here's a picture of Donnie Shitbags that I just happened to find today. And it really kind of encapsulates how he walks out of the house every day. I don't know what's wrong with this man. When he first got that orange tanner, whenever it was, I know there's a specific orange shit that he fucking orders. Didn't he notice he's leaving his house an orange face? Look, my face is orange now from the orange off of Donnie's face. Look at it. Look at it. But, it's funny that Donnie likes orange because that's what the Lake of Fire is. It's like all orange and reddish and shit. Donnie should like that. Anyway, this was a strange thing I saw. Met raids Quaker meeting house and arrests 6 women at youth demand talk. I didn't know what any of these things were. I don't know shit about Quakers. I don't know what a Quaker meeting house is. I don't know what a youth demand talk is. I didn't know what any of this was. So I'm looking at what the fuck all this is. I listened to the girl give her speech about it. And what happened is in London, I believe, they have these Quaker meeting houses all around the world. And they're really basically their church space that the Quakers use. The Quakers have their own kind of version of Christianity that's not really Christianity, but I don't want to get into all that. So that's basically their meeting space, their worship space, all that. That's usually what it's used for. But it's a meeting house, so you could do other things there. So I assume these were all Quaker girls. And they're basically Palestine sympathizers. They don't like what's going on there, and they're trying to be activists and discuss the issue and put the issue forth and decide how to best proceed. So the girl described it in the video, and these are young women. the girl didn't look any more than 21 years old to me, or 20 years old. So this was 6 young women, I believe, at a Quaker meeting house. Maybe they're Quakers, I guess they are, if they're in the meeting house. And a youth demand talk is people can come in and meet the group and they can explain what they're about, and people can decide if they want to be involved or not involved. That's what the girl alleged they were doing in the Quaker meeting house. Well, they got raided just like these schools here are getting raided. And for the same reason. They're critical of Israel. And they want to continue to be critical of Israel. And they kind of look like they're of somewhat Middle Eastern descent, or at least the one girl did. I'm not sure. Three of them got taken. Some of their phones got taken. And what bothers me about this is, again, what I wrote in the post section, I thought this was only going on in America because of Donnie and Leon, but apparently it's happening in England as well. Now you have to remember, America and England are the ones that helped create the Israeli state back in the day. So there's going to be a lot of forces in Britain and here that want to continue on that mission. What bothers me, though, is I'm seeing a similar behavior that's not really talked about. As Britain chastises us and says we're going down the fascist road and you're not our ally anymore and all that. And I understand why they're saying that. They're right. But what about this? Your country seems to be going down a path similar to ours, where we harass young students and arrest them, and they haven't committed a crime. We're arresting them for possible future crimes. Thought crime. That's where we're at. And guess what that scenario is in? Every sci-fi movie, dystopian nightmare, that scenario is always there. Where people just get grabbed off the street and they haven't even committed a crime, with no due process. That's what happened to these women. And 3 of them got taken. And it bothered me, you know why? Because it reminds me of America. The America we are now, not the one we used to be. So this is a little scary to me, that it's this widespread, this agenda, to where if anyone of Middle Eastern descent criticizes Israel, now we're, basically labeling them a terrorist. We're saying they're committing crimes to the press and everywhere else, but they're not being charged with any crimes, which means they didn't commit any crimes. Really fucking dangerous territory, but it's too late. We already down the rabbit hole. I'm just a little disappointed in the UK that this type of shit, the same that's going on here, is going on there. Makes it a little more ominous. New groups are being added. I wonder what the next group will be. Saint Upid, patron saint of economic collapse. Saint Upid, or stupid, if you will. Isn't Donnie beautiful? In his saint outfit. And why they always got to portray Jesus doing some like Freemason hand signals and shit. What's up with that? I don't even know what that means. To whatever satanic group came up with it. I don't know. But again, why all Jesus would make things like this in some pictures? Like, what's all that about? Why Jesus making hand signs? I don't even know what that sign means. I'm sure if I looked it up in 3 seconds, it's probably some, fucked up, shadowy group. That's their symbol or some shit. Freemason bullshit or something, Why is that? Why is Jesus always depicted like that? I don't like that. I don't dig that. Anyway, Leon crying like a bitch all day, every day. Here's another one. The goal of the left is to destroy my influence. Let's stop there. No, Leon, you're doing a great job yourself by exposing what and who you are. We didn't know that before. You had this kind of mystique as you were taking billions in welfare. We just didn't know what you were yet. You kept, in the shadows a little bit. Then you decided to go all MAGA and be a Nazi and throw your hat in the ring. Now you're being scrutinized, little child. And I guess the point I'm trying to make is you're doing a great job all on your own. I noticed you were a douchebag in like 3 seconds once you exposed yourself and decided to go down the road of the false prophet. So you're doing a great job all on your own to ruin your rep. Anyone that ever had any respect for you or looked up to you in any way, you've just utterly destroyed that. You had a little bit of credibility with liberals because you were doing the electric car thing. That's all fucking gone. They hate your fucking guts. And that's all because of one person, Leon. You. Now, this time they're trying to, that's right, he said on a show that because he's in government, that's why people hate him and hate Tesla. Well, wait a minute, I thought people hated you because of the Ukrainians, Leon. Isn't that what you said last week? Now, this week it's because you're in government. No, Leon, it's because you're a scumbag, spawn of Satan. You proved it. You told the world you're the spawn of Satan, who your master is. You're a Nazi. How do I know that? You did a literal Sieg Heil several times in front of a whole crowd of people and in front of the world on television in 2025. The year of our Lord, 2025. You fucking cunt. Leon is also the guy that ran around on a stage in a half-assed thug outfit thinking he looked cool, waving a chainsaw around, celebrating the mass firing of thousands of people. Remember that he's the Nazi salute guy, and he ran around on a stage with a chainsaw, like some half-ass rapper or something, celebrating the firing of thousands. So what any of you fired people, no, Leon laughs at you and celebrates your firing and adds it to his resume as his accomplishments in life, thanks to Daddy's emerald mine and a lot of welfare from the United States. Mr. 300 billion laughs at you, waves a chainsaw around in celebration of firing you. If you are still defending that, you are a hopeless cultist who can never be saved. I'm sorry. So no, the goal of the left was not to destroy Leon's influence. Leon did that all on his own. No one needs to help Leon look bad. He does a great job. So they relentlessly push negative propaganda about me. No, Leon, you always do negative things. Every 5 minutes, it's who's the next person you're going to fire. You're calling the fired people parasites. You're calling the people that need the programs parasites. You're calling the people that complain about you getting rid of the programs parasites. You say people that if they call up and complain about their Social Security check not coming, they're a fraud. You said this, son. You can't do and say these things and have people still like you. I know in Moneyland, you people are used to having people kiss your ass. Here's a clue. They're only kissing your ass because you have money. They all hate your fucking guts, and they talk shit about you the second they're out of your presence. Every single one of you rich assholes that's worth over $1 billion. That's your existence. Everyone hates your fucking guts, and the only reason they tolerate you and fawn over you in pure fakery is in hopes to get some of that money off you. And they know you can get them in trouble. That's the only reason. I hate to break it to you. You didn't think the 20-year-old supermodel really liked you at 57 years old when you're a pasty fat oligarch, right? Okay. So they relentlessly push negative propaganda about me like the fake Nazi stuff. Oh, no, he didn't. And ignore anything positive. They are evil. Oh, no, he didn't. The Nazis, the fake Nazi stuff. The guy who in 2025, the year of our Lord, did several Nazi salutes in front of the whole fucking world, proudly, sincerely, and very strongly. Fake Nazi stuff, you say. We didn't just start calling you a Nazi, son. You told the entire world you were one when you raised your hand up. Remember that, tough guy? Now you can't take the heat? Did you think we wouldn't notice? Cunt. So the fake Nazi stuff, well, I literally posted the picture of Leon giving the Nazi salute. So there goes that theory. They are evil. The false prophet is calling you evil for not liking him. The irony. There is no greater irony that has ever been, is there, than that? The literal beast number 2 in the story. I promise you. One of the purest expressions of evil that was ever born. Beast 1 and Beast 2. It's written. Are calling you evil because you don't like him as he dismantles this entire country with a band of high schoolers and college dropouts. He doesn't understand when he throws up that Nazi salute and offends every Jew that gives a shit. When he talks about rounding people up, even though he's an illegal alien himself. The second he came here, he dropped out of college so he could be a startup bro with his daddy's money. He didn't have time for learning, for book learning. He watched corporate scumbag types pretend they know stuff and do performances around people and make phone calls and shake hands. And Leon is the maximum expression of that corporate cunt from human resources that comes in to talk to you and give you a speech, or the CEO, or your, I don't know, assistant manager that just does the total corporate act all day, every day, except when they're concerned. When they want to take a break, they take one. When they want to be on the phone for 2 hours, they do that. When they want to take a 2-hour lunch, they do. And then they give you the corporate lecture that you're irresponsible and you're wrong and you're not professional. You've all heard these things. I know you have. From the very cunt above you that exemplifies, personifies all those things. When it comes to you, you get the corporate speech. When it comes to them, they're crying on Fox News because no one wants to buy their shitty, low-quality cars. After you do a Nazi salute in front of them, and you speak like you're a good, decent person,
And then the next minute, you speak like that maximum expression corporate cunt that we all know. That fakery. And then the next night or the next day, you're up on a stage with big glasses, a gold chain, a hideous t-shirt, a horrible coat to hide your fucking fat stomach, some shitty jeans, and $15,000 shoes. And you wave a chainsaw around like a maniac, celebrating the mass firing of thousands of people that now have to worry about how they're going to feed themselves.
And never forget, Leon is the Nazi salute guy. So he will get no mercy from me. I'll never forget that shit. And I'll never give him a pass on it. Because he doesn't deserve it. You know why? Because he wants you dead, son. Wants me dead, too. I'm not special. That's why he doesn't deserve it. And when you ever think about giving him the benefit of the doubt, or think I'm being too harsh, or the world's being too harsh, because he's on there acting like a professional on the news before he starts crying about losing his business, remember who he is. He's the Nazi salute guy. He's the guy that waves a chainsaw around in celebration of firing thousands. Never forget that. He's the one that calls old ladies parasites and frauds for needing these programs or complaining if these programs don't come through for them. Meanwhile, Leon has taken more welfare than any human in the history of mankind. Always remember what you're dealing with, and always remember what Nazi ideology stands for. The principles. That's Leon. Don't ever give him a pass, because he's never going to give you one. He's the false prophet's son. Pure evil. Speaking of pure evil, funny we come to this. I uploaded all these pictures again because I want you to see the darkness. And I want you to not forget and remember what we're dealing with. Remember that? Let me blow that up. Can I blow that up a little more? Look at that, like, 100-foot statue of Donnie in gold on the Holy Land. Isn't there kind of some weird kind of darkness to all that light? It just doesn't quite look like light, right? There's just something off about the whole thing. You know what it is? Satan. That's what it is. Again, they're just kind of weird, off light with darkness intermingled. Huge gold Donnie head balloon in the Holy Land. Totally normal, right? All presidents do. This ain't the apocalypse. This is normal. On the Holy Land. If anyone even intimated this before, there would be 100 million Muslims rioting. And I wouldn't blame them. Why isn't that happening now? What's different about this? Why aren't there Muslims all over the place in the streets over this? Donnie hasn't rebuked it or said, oh, that's ridiculous. Oh, no, this is his shit right here. Where do you think this came from? Did you watch the video, how thorough, detailed, planned out it is? This took work, man. And they put every message and thing they wanted you to see in it. Look, here's Leon sitting by himself, or a weird satanic AI rendering of Leon with weird, dark, bright lighting, eating some food by himself because no one can stand him. Again, a kind of just regular inner city scene there. Again, with the weird golden light. The golden age.
That's a tribute to something.
Those words, that idea, that's a tribute to something.
Totally normal, right? On the Holy Land, Trump Gaza. Totally normal.
Nothing strange about that at all. 3 little children going through this fake
cutout in a cave onto the beach. Look at the coast. Look at all the beautiful buildings. The little children's running into this picturesque heavenly scene as if they would want any of those kids around.
By the resort, they wouldn't. This is a total joke. You got the bearded, weird
male-female dancers. I told you the right wing has the real freaks, son. You don't even know. You don't even know.
Again, 2 little children's going through the cave instead of 3. Leon eating some more food by himself because no one could stand Leon. Even AI knows. They're like, when they made it, let's just render him, the robot's talking to himself. Let's just render him by himself because no one can fucking stand him. Even we know he's a fucking douchebag.
Money raining down on Leon. Not on you. On Leon.
Oh, here's the woman with the 2 children. Did I already show you this? I probably have.
This is so over the top, satanic, and ridiculous. When have you ever seen anything like this?
Never is the answer. And again, if you did see, if anyone put this idea forth before Donnie Shitbags came along, there would be, again, 100 million Muslims in the streets of every Muslim country here, and they'd be flipping the fuck out. And you know what? They'd have every right to. Why aren't they doing it now? That doesn't seem strange to you. This doesn't seem strange, just normal shit, right? It's not the apocalypse. It's not dystopian. It's not crazy at all. Oh, here's an old one. Trump was at a rally. I forget when this was from. July 24. Last year, July. Leon Scum gives me $45 million a month. We have to make life good for people like him. Well, that means the rich. And Donnie's always said that. Well, we're going to give tax cuts to, rich people. He doesn't say it in those words, but he always says this right out loud, right in front of you people, and you vote for it again. So he's literally saying here, this is before the election took place, obviously. Leon gives me $45 million a month. We have to make life good for people like him. Well, he means people like him and Leon and their friends. The filthy, disgustingly rich that still want more. This is bad. This is a USA Today, a couple excerpts from an NBC interview that Donnie did. And I'm just going to read 2 quick excerpts here. A day after members of his administrations, including Vice President Couchfucker J.D. Vance, visited a U.S. military installation there, Trump, in an interview with NBC, said he'd absolutely, that's in quotes, had conversations about annexing Greenland. And here's another quote. We'll get Greenland, yeah, 100%. That's a quote. Trump said, according to the news outlet. Well, he said this many times that we're going to get it. And there's more, don't worry. 100%, he says. Again, these people ain't just talking. That's why I'm on camera right now. Getting as many broadcasts in as before shit hits the fan. And I can't do it anymore. Maybe I end up in a gulag. That's what's coming. Asked about the comments during the NBC interview, Trump recommitted to taking control of the island, but said there's a good possibility, that's in quotes, that the U.S. can do it without the assistance of the military. Again, this is Hitler talk, people, and we just all going about our business. And it's, by the time everybody wakes up, it'll be World War III, and the missiles will be flying and the bombs will be dropping, and it'll be too late. Anyway, here's the quote. No, I never take military force off the table, but I think there's a good possibility that we could do it without military force, Trump said. We have an obligation to protect the world. This is world peace. This is international security. And I have that obligation while I'm president. No, I don't take anything off the table. So that means World War III. He's telegraphing it. The military will be used. Maybe not for Greenland, but it will be used. It's the only way they would give up the territory, honestly. But this part right here, this is world peace. This is international security. This is the cover for all these military operations that they're doing. Do you notice that? We're trying to protect you. You should pay us for that. In fact, you should give us all of Greenland for that. And Canada, you too. We're trying to protect. You should give us your entire country. And then over at the Gulf of Aden, oh, we're opening up the waterway over there. You should pay us Egypt, and you should pay us Europe. Protection racket. And again, these troops we have in Greenland, the troops we had in Europe, the troops we had in South Korea, Germany, all these places, none of that was for other people. That was all for the United States. So how dare we come around on the back end and be like, you got to pay us now. We're running a protection racket. This is Donnie Shitbags. He's been a mobster criminal his whole fucking life. Those troops were never there for Europe, Greenland, any of those places. Those troops were there for us in case Russia started some shit. So we could hit them quick. And you never want your forces all in one place, ever. You never want that. So he's not taking military force off the table, but he thinks he can do it without the military. But if I need the military, if I need to just take it, I'm going to do that. And again, any cunt cheering that on. Picture Donnie with the military going to your house and taking it. And saying, get out. You going to take on this 100 men with machine guns? No, you're not. Get out. This is ours now. We're going to put an oil rig right next to your house, and we're going to dig for coal on the other side of your house. And then we're going to do some fracking on the other side of your house. And then we're going to dig for lithium or whatever in front of your house. That's what's going on here. This is the Antichrist. This is the apocalypse. This is going to be World War III. That's what you're witnessing. That's why this rhetoric, you've never heard this before. That's why you're like, what the fuck is this? I don't know what's going on. Why are 97 things happening a day? Because it's the Antichrist, and he doesn't have a lot of time. He's got to get this thing rolling. Look at what the changes that you've seen in, 2.5 months, something like that? The pace of it. It's a shock and awe. It's a blitzkrieg, and they don't have a lot of time. That's why they're doing it that way. Believe me, they'd love to slow drag this more. But Stephen Miller, Donnie, and Leon, I can tell they are about out of patience. And they about to unleash this thing. It's going to come to a point, I promise you, where they don't care about nothing. Even the facade will be dropped. And it's going to go straight Nazi, straight fascist. You best get mentally prepared. And if I was the Danish, I'd be putting some surprises around Greenland for some people. You might want to get on that. Here's Leon sitting on his stack of money with the peasants that are starving below, and he's asking, why is everyone so mean? I got my 43 billion. What are you mad about? That's the cunt Satanist oligarch mentality, daddy's boy, born filthy fucking rich. Can I blow this up even more? Let's get it real big. See the starving peasants below. Leon sitting on your money because we gave him it all, this country. His businesses would be worthless jokes. Still in the startup phase. I think Tesla sold something like 5,000 cars or 2,000 cars over 5 years before the welfare came in. You know, your money. That's what Leon's sitting on. He just got 43 billion more, and he's going to get more. He wants a contract from every agency that he's dismantling. That's part of the agenda. Leon gets the contract. He wants them all. I'm not joking. I read a whole article on it. Every department and thing he's fucking with, ruining, he's trying to also snake a contract for himself. Because no one gives a fuck about SpaceX. That ain't making no money. Tesla's over. The only way that stock is over 220 is with Russian, Saudi money, other oligarchs just wasting their money holding it up. Twitter's fucking worthless. Only reason he's even still eating right now is your welfare money. That's the only reason. None of his businesses are profitable. He's kind of like Donnie Shitbags in that way. Always more credit, always his hand out for another loan, welfare, whatever. And that's after being born filthy rich. So how pathetic are those cunts? Here's Donnie again in the NBC interview. I have no idea. This is about the Signal app thing. I have no idea what Signal is. I don't care what Signal is, Trump said on Saturday. All I can tell you is it's just a witch hunt. And it's the only thing the press wants to talk about. Because you have nothing else to talk about. Because it's been the greatest 100-day presidency in the history of our country. Again, we had the entire cabinet share classified intelligence or classified information with a reporter, and they didn't even know it till the reporter called up and told them they did it. So to Donnie and to you, Rubes, I assume that's a witch hunt, right? And the press shouldn't be talking about how the whole cabinet put us in utter danger and how incompetent they are and how sycophantic they are. And how it's so obvious none of them care because they know it's going full fascist. And they look at us with contempt. They talk to us with contempt. That Levitt cunt with the tic-tac nose. That's way too small for her face. That's 27 and looks like she's 43. How dare any of these worthless wastes of fucking oxygen condescend to us? What fucking right do they have? What talent do any of them have? Zero. Except licking Donnie's ass. And I mean every goddamn one of them. Levitt, Bondi, Haba, Hegseth. Worthless. Wastes of fucking oxygen. Utterly unqualified, utterly incompetent. Their only talent, willingness to lick Donnie's ass and throw their dignity, pride, reputation, and soul in the fucking gutter for it. That's all they got going. So how dare any of these people? Mr. Nutlick, too, he's another one. Waste of fucking oxygen. Saying that people complain if they don't get their Social Security check, that they're fucking frauds? No, Nutlick, you're the fraud. Unbelievable. Freedom Seeds, we finally got to it. J.D. Vance, the guy who saw no real action and was like a war correspondent, wasn't even a warrior. What a joke. He's firing a gun. And this is the White House account. I don't know if you know, the White House Twitter account on Twitter has basically turned into 4chan. And it's about at the maturity level of, I don't know, a 12-year-old boy that can't get a date with his dick in his hand. So it's the White House account on Twitter. There you see the couch fucker, I assume. Yeah, I can see the eyeliner through the shooting glasses. So he's firing a gun. So White House Twitter account again. Just the Vice President of the United States sending some freedom seeds downrange. Doesn't get more American than that. It's a shame you rubes equate America with bullets that kill people. What a shame. That's how, I don't know, stupid you are. Or I think a better term is unwise. And this propaganda, bullets that kill human beings, they dare call freedom seeds. Again, this is just a game to these Satanists. Freedom seeds, they say. And we all know they're going to be spreading a lot of freedom seeds around the world. World War III, you think I'm joking? Again, you think this dystopian nightmare ain't happening? You think you're not in the apocalypse? When phrases like freedom seeds start coming around instead of bullets, the truth is dead, son. That's really what this movement all was, this struggle between people like me and people like these. It's a war for the truth. They've been trying to kill literal reality, the literal truth, just like the novel 1984. I don't know if you know the point of that novel, what they said in the end. They don't care what the truth is. What they care about is you agreeing with them on what the truth is, or you die. Why? Because they can. That's the answer. We do this because we can. We kill because we can. We torture because we can. And what we really want to kill, what we really need deceased, is the truth itself, is reality itself. You know, the reality where Donnie can take an utter intelligence failure by his entire fucking worthless cabinet of sycophants and call that fake news. There ain't jack shit fake about it, son. Your whole cabinet invited a reporter to witness a strike package that was going to happen in an hour. You fucking morons. So again, in the pursuit of killing reality, oh, that's fake news. Why you all want to talk about that? You know, that's all you want to talk about. Yeah, because that's all there is to talk about. Your incompetence, your grifting, your lying, your thieving, your Nazism, your incompetent sycophants that you hired. Because you need people willing to go full fascist. You can't have smart people. You can't have talented people. You can't have creative people. You have automatons that look at Adolf Hitler as Jesus. You can't work with that. That'll never work. But we'll be the ones to suffer for it. Donnie's fat ass and Leon's fat ass, they got years before they hit the fire. We just have to suffer these cunts for God knows what reason. Again, another thing I struggle with. Because again, I'm already at the lake, son. This is already all over for me. I already know the outcome. I already know what's going to happen in the interim. It's already fucking over. Can feel the heat of the fire right now, actually. Fake follower audit. This was done a while back, and this is the thing I always quote when I'm telling you 70% of Leon's followers are fucking fake. Actually, over 70%. This is a tool you were able to scan people's accounts, and it would give you a total on how many of their followers were fake. For Leon, his fake followers are the overwhelming majority, over 70% of the people. You see the number, this 110 million followers, 70% of that are not real human beings. They're just nothing. The richest man in the world had to install 70% of his account as bots. Leon is the king of bots. He loves bots. None of these websites would be even, they'd be half the size without the bots. So they all love the bots too. But Leon especially, he builds an entire following out of bots. So that means out of the 110 million, in case you're not good at math, 77,288,177 are fake. And what's 110 minus 77? What's that? 2333? Is that right? 33 is right? Okay, 33. So Leon really has 33 million followers. I don't even believe that number. Even that number's bullshit. But according to this tool, at least 70 or a little over 70% of his followers were fake at this time when he had 110 million followers. I assume that number has gone up significantly since then, probably all bots. And that's the end. But how about we end it with this picture right here? Remember that from yesterday? Donnie's been looking extra orange. You know what it is? It's that Antichrist spirit. It's really full-fledged now within him. His whole countenance is different. He doesn't have patience. He just wants to unleash the beast. I can see it in all of them. Donnie, Leon, Stephen Miller, they know what they're going to do. And it's like their birthday, or excuse me, it's like Christmas morning, where it's like 3 a.m. Christmas, and you know your mother and father will beat the shit out of you if you wake them up before like 7 a.m. and open your presents. And you're debating whether to just run out there and tear them up the second mom and dad go to bed. But somehow you restrain yourself, even though you're a child and it's the most exciting day of the year. Every kid loves Christmas, right? As long as the kid gets to have one. Because not every kid does, unfortunately. That's Leon, Donnie, and Stephen Miller and others right now. They know where this is going. Hegseth, they all know it. That's why Hegseth is so gung-ho, baby. This is his big moment where he gets to be the crusader who helps the third temple get built. It's so funny, though. Hegseth is going to end up in the lake, and he doesn't even know it. He thinks he's the good guy with the Nazi tattoos. That's how deluded these fucks are. Anyone who's ever loved Nazism, even for 5 seconds, that's how deluded these fucks are. They made a religion out of a guy with a funny mustache who gasses people. And eventually, yeah, it's going to lead to where, like Noel Castler said, it's going to lead to even people like me, little podcasters, dissidents, they'll go in the gulag too eventually. And yes, unfortunately, World War III is coming. I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime. Now I know what it was like during World War II, where you had this maniac in Germany threatening all their neighbors, saying, I want this piece of land, I want that piece of land from this country, I want this, I want that, and making them go through this facade of negotiation and appeasement and this and that, and then go into war anyway. What do you think Donnie's going to do? all this back and forth negotiation, all the stupid tactics everyone's fucking with. Donnie already knows he's going to war. So does Leon. So does Stephen. So does Hegseth. Just like Adolf did. It's the same thing. Again, what I've been yelling about for 10 years. A white nationalist movement, except what I didn't know, it was full-blown Nazi movement. They really believe it. And a full-blown Satanist movement. They really believe it. So it's the worst movement of them all. Even though Hitler tried to be that. He tried to be New Rome. He tried to have the 1,000-year reign as if he were Jesus. But he failed. He didn't have the full blessing that these two cunts have. So again, it doesn't matter the tactics anyone uses, because they already planned this out years ago. And the devil been planning it for thousands of years. He's known this time would come. He's been waiting for it. He needs that new creation. And that new creation's already here. It's called artificial intelligence. And boy, it's getting smarter and more lifelike every day by the way it interacts. So yeah, again, I know, as crazy as it sounds, people, you're really living in it. It's really happening. I don't want it to be happening. This isn't fun for me because I know what happens. What I've been saying is going to happen. Pure death. That's what these cunts are. And since this happened, again, I saw a black-faced parrot out of nowhere I didn't even know existed on this planet that looked like death. I saw a duck on its back dying with its legs doing things. I saw a squirrel the other day, the same thing, on its back dying. What those things are telling me or showing me is this, like I said so long ago, this thing that is happening, these people that are in charge of it, that are making it happen, Donnie and Leon and others, they are death. That's what they about to bring. And if the first 2 months doesn't convince you, I don't know what will. If young women from college with a visa getting snatched off the street and you don't think that could happen to you, I know, just like all you DOGE people, or excuse me, you government workers that got the excellent evals and you got the promotion and you thought you were better than your coworkers and you thought you were too important. That same philosophy. No one's too important. And the beast turns on everyone. And the beast and the dragon and the false prophet hate your fucking guts. They kind of seem to hate their own guts too. They don't like themselves, and that's obvious. Real self-esteem issues for guys that like to put their chest out so much. Very manipulatable. I've met people like that really need that like from other people. I was never that person. Didn't mean shit to me. But I've met a lot of people that are like that. If you don't like them, it affects them mentally. And Leon and Donnie are those people. They can't handle when people don't like them, don't love them, don't praise them, don't worship them. They can't handle it mentally. Not good. Anyway, Again, it's all going to a really bad place, and that's why I keep doing this every night and charting the progress of how quick our demise is coming. And remember those images I showed you, the 80-foot, again, Donnie statues in Israel. That's where all roads lead. And again, that doesn't mean Israel controls the world. That means the beast and the false prophet control the world. And that's where they want to take this thing, to be worshipped as God in Israel. And the third temple is involved. And it will be built. I can tell by how this is going. I can tell by the Israelis already asking countries, can you please take these Gazans off our hands so we can build this resort and the temple. Anyway, until the next episode, have a wonderful evening.